So, where we left off was the basics of content management and the basics of content modeling. So, content types, content parts, content fields, and how all this comes together with a page. Now, let's see some other content types. The concepts will be the same, but just to see some other examples. First, we will take a look at blogs and blog posts, and then we will see how comments work. And again, remember that all of these are content types and content items are created from them. So blogs, blog posts, and comments are all just the same concept. So if you want to create a blog in Orchard, like you want to create a personal blog for you, you are a developer and want to share your knowledge, as many of us do, then you can use Orchard, for example, hosted on .nest, to create a blog. So we used the default recipe to set up our site, and this by default also enables the blog feature. You may remember that there was a blog recipe as well, which also enables the blog feature, but not much else, because that's focused on the blog. So let's create a blog. Let us call the blog. And well, let's say that the description will be, this is my blog. You may notice that the blog also has a title, which is driven by the title part again. Permalink again is done by the outer out part. You can see that here is this set as home checkbox, which I mentioned is displayed when the content item is not the home page. The other one we have seen was already the home page. So on this other one we can see this checkbox actually displayed. And the blog has some other aspects as well. Well, blah blah blah. There is again this show on a menu checkbox. We will dive a bit deeper into navigation and how menus are handled. Just for now, let's use this simple feature and put the blog on the main menu. So on the menu tags will be also blog, not to create any confusion, and let's hit save. Now you may notice that, well, you can trust me on the blogs being content items as well, but you may notice that there is no publish now or publish later. Well, there is no publish later because that is also handled by another part, and there is no publish now because blogs are not draftable. You remember we have seen that the configuration under the content types editor, draftable. We could save drafts for pages because pages are draftable, but blogs, as opposed to that, are not draftable. And you can see they are also not creatable, so we don't have a new block here because the developer decided to create the blog module's own menu item here. They are also not listable, they won't be listed in the normal content list. Well, they are not draftable, we have seen, and they are not securable by default. But we can all change those. It's in the admin. So, finally, let's save this blog. And well, a blog in itself is not much, but if we take a look at the front end, we can recognize that this blog menu item is now included here. So that's cool, this worked, but there are no blog posts yet. So let's add a blog post. This will be pretty easy. Now we are on the blogs admin page. We were redirected here, so I didn't click anything else. But if you're coming from just the dashboard somewhere else, you can click this blog menu item and you will be brought to this page. And by the way, you can also create another blog, and as many blogs as you wish. You can have many blogs with many blog posts. And well, while a blog is a content item in itself, it's also a container of other content items. So this is a bit of a new concept for us. This is all handled in the background in the case of the blog, by the way, but there are more explicit containable relationships too. For now, let's add the post to blogs, or to this blog. And well, we can just give it some title, like this will be blog post fun. Maybe we will have more. And this will be some body text. Again, we have the body part. Again, this is the TinyMC VCVig editor. And we have just all the usual stuff here. There is one thing new under comments. Not too surprisingly, comments are added by a part called comment part. Or actually, sorry, comments part. And comments also have some basic configuration. You can enable to show comments on a content item level. So for example, you can opt to display or to allow commenting under one blog post, but not allow on another one. You can also close commenting by unticking this allow new comments checkbox. And there is also a threaded comments feature, which is very cool technically, but I think nobody really uses. And as you can see, blog posts are draftable, because now we have this publish now button again. So let's publish it now. We don't want to create a separate draft for this blog post. And now if I go back to the front end, again to the blog, now we can see that a blog post is displayed. So that's cool. And we can also open it. It's opened on a separate page. And well, it just displays the whole content. And you can see that there is also commenting. We have some basic comments box here, where any logged in user by default can write comments. So I could write something like this is a great blog post, you rock, man. And well, it is just saved. So no big surprises here. Long story short, there's a blogs feature where you can add blog posts and you can create multiple blogs. And there's a commenting feature, well, where you can add comments. But there's a bit more to it, because on the admin we also see a comments menu item, and actually under that we see all the comments. Well, there is only one, of course. But you can see that there is also a status for a comment which is currently approved. Now, this may suggest you that there is an unapproved status as well, and there actually is. So if you take a look at actions, there is this unapproved button. Well, and after that, after we unapproved a comment, it will be pending. And if you take a look at the front end, you will see that now it's not there. The reason is that for comments we can have such pre-moderation. You can configure to only allow moderated comments, where each comment will be just pending by default, and then you can approve them one by one. And furthermore, by the way, you can also edit and delete comments and filter them in various ways. But now that I mentioned it, that comments can be configured to be pre-moderated, let's also take a look at the configuration. So before that, we have seen that under here there is a settings menu item, but there are multiple settings as well, not just the default site settings or the basic site settings, and indeed there are comment settings too. And well, here we have a checkbox indeed to pre-moderate comments. If you check that, then well, comments will be pending by default. And you can also automatically close commenting after a set days. This is also handy, or this is handy to disable commenting for very old content, which might not be useful. And by the way, here you can see an example of a warning in Orchard. Usually these are displayed on the top. Here the developer specifically wanted to display it in line. And this hints us that there is some email feature in the system that can be enabled, and then we can send emails from Orchard, which is indeed the case, but we'll see that later. for now, let's leave everything on default here. That's about some more involved content management. Still quite basic. You see that the same concepts are applied everywhere, and just by taking the same content part, adding another command part, the commands part, and creating another content type, commands, we can build completely new kind of functionality. So I think quite flexible and quite nice.